What's going on, y'all? It's Wes here. So I'm gonna make a video. It's kind of been on my mind for a long time, and yeah, I'm just gonna start talking about it today finally. How bodybuilding affects my faith or has helped me grow in my Christian walk, has got me closer to God. Not sure what I'm gonna title it, but you'll see whenever this goes live. But basically, it's how bodybuilding has affected my faith. Now, initially when I first started lifting, I thought this would be a challenge because on the outside, it seemed like bodybuilding was more a vain sport. I remember asking my uncle about that, like, how do I reconcile bodybuilding and being Christian? Because it seemed kind of like selfish or prideful. You know, you're focusing on your physique and how you look, and it seemed very self-centered going in, and that seemed like it was going to be a big hurdle. But he actually reassured me that no, it actually can be used as a good thing, as a tool. There's a lot of self-discipline and a lot of hard work that goes into it, and that doesn't necessarily have to be about vanity and oneself. You can use those principles to reflect outwardly and help others positively and even inspire others. So when I took a look at it from that angle, I'm like, okay, like this is something that can go hand in hand together. So after bodybuilding for a couple years and being in church basically my whole life, there's some verses that really pop out to me or mean a lot more to me now. The biggest one is probably Luke 9 verse 23. So I'll just read it now. And he said to them all, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." Now, bodybuilding in a nutshell, to me anyways, is the sport of self-denial. Like, you have to be able to be willing to give up a lot. Give up food, give up some social interactions, give up a lot of self-indulgence, a lot of things that will make you just happy on a surface level. You really have to give those things up to dial in and focus on a goal. And the deny yourself and the daily part, those two parts of the verse really stuck out to me, because you can't just do this for a couple days. You have to do it daily on end for months. Like, you gotta just be willing to stick it out, grind it out day after day after day, denying simple pleasures, denying, some self-gratification, denying yourself of a lot of things that bring other people joy. And on the outside looking in, whenever I tell people about what I have to do, they're like, yo, you're crazy. I could never give up all that. Give up drinking, give up partying, give up eating whatever you want, giving up snacks, giving up staying up super late, even though sometimes I still kind of do that, and giving up your free time because all of it's got to go towards working out and doing cardio, giving up video games or other things that would bring you joy and replacing that time with cardio and working out. Just be willing to do the hard thing over and over again. You have to learn how to deny yourself, but in doing that, you learn how much self-control you really have and how often impulses come and go, and you really have to decide, okay, do I want this now or do I want the results I've been working for later? And then, yeah, like I said, the impulses do come and go. So when they do go, you realize how little you actually wanted that thing and how much you really want the big thing. And ultimately, that's like the whole Christian walk, like being able to just give up, the passions of sin and be able to focus on the greater goal that is God, like the goal of having a relationship and a connection with God and with Jesus, and just being willing to say, I'd rather have the truly meaningful thing rather than all the pleasures of the world. And doing that daily, like reminding yourself all the time, like there's moments where it's super easy and you're super dialed in, and the other moments where it's hard, and the whole sport itself really does reflect that, and I'm grateful for learning that lesson. Another aspect that I've come to appreciate is the fasting part of it. Fasting is built into the sport more or less. Whether you are doing like a true 24-hour or extended fast, or doing intermittent fasting, or just cutting back on your portion sizes and your meal frequency, in a sense that still is a fast because you're just reducing the amount of food that you're eating and intaking. And so this is the verse that really stuck out to me for that aspect. It's Matthew 6 verses 16 to 18, but specifically verse 16. "Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites, of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou fastest, anointest thine head, and wash thy face, that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. So basically what I take from that is, like, when you fast as a Christian anyways, you shouldn't be, making up your face being like, oh, I'm so hungry, or just telling everyone, oh yeah, I'm on a fast, to get the, admiration of other people. Because if you do that, well, there you go, you have your reward. Other people go, wow, you're so dedicated, that's good for you. But you kind of spoil the reward that you get from God. So if you want the cheap gratification from people, let them know, oh, how hard this is and how much you're struggling, how much you're suffering. Or you can suffer in silence, and God's gonna appreciate that, or help you appreciate that, and recognize that, hey, you're suffering in silence, but He hears and He sees, and it's appreciated by Him. Because an example for that in my personal journey, I started working at Lifetime in January, and I had my contest in April. And basically until a couple weeks before, my coworkers didn't even know that I was in prep. They were just noticing, one, I'm getting skinnier, and two, I'm doing a ton of cardio. And they're like, why are you going on the treadmill all the time? But I tried not to complain once, because I'm signing up for this. This is something that I want to do. So why would I be openly complaining about this? It doesn't make sense. And so I'm there suffering in silence. Like, sure, I'm really hungry some days, or other days it's not so bad, but I'm doing this because I chose to do it. So why would I complain about it? And I was so happy with the end result that I enjoyed the whole process so much I'm doing it again. And if I were to complain about that, like, that's just kind of begging for attention, if you ask me. So yeah, it's hard, but you're willing to do that, and it's the end sacrifice makes it worth it, and that's all there is to it. Like, you have to focus on the end goal and how bad you want it. And just like with fasting in real life or in your Christian walk, you're doing this to get closer to God. So it doesn't matter what other people think and how much you're suffering. Like, other people, sure, is impressive to them, but ultimately it doesn't matter what their opinion is, because God is the person whose opinion matters, and who you're trying to get closer with, and the reason why you're fasting. So I'm not going to make up my face and complain when I'm doing this to get closer to Him. And today specifically, I was doing my cardio on the treadmill, and I saw GodLogic streaming. I've been watching all of this stuff for a long time, and there was a Muslim dude really struggling with his faith. And in the video and in the conversation, he basically brought up the point a lot that for him and for thousands of other Muslims, that to become a Christian, no matter how good the arguments are and how much it's making sense, you have to give up so much. You have to give up your family and your culture, and you will be ostracized, and things will not be easy, even the threat of death for a lot of Muslims. But the verse that really makes it like clear that you have to choose God or the world was Matthew 10:37. So much so that I put in a super chat, because during the whole conversation, I'm like, man, this is exactly the verse that this guy needs to hear. And I couldn't live with myself if I had this information and I couldn't do anything to help this brother out. So I put in my little super chat. I'm like, yo, you got to read this verse. And then, not sure if it was my chat or my chat that he saw, but being in one accord in the spirit, that verse actually ended up being brought up in the conversation. And Logic read Matthew, I think 27 to about 30 something, but he definitely read that verse in context and gave that to the brother. So Salim, I think is his name, Salim. I don't know, I'll try to put the link to the actual conversation, the live stream in the description. And then if GodLogic actually makes that into a video, I'll put that down there as well. But this is how the verse goes. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Meaning so that, like, yeah, you are gonna have to give up family in some cases, because not everyone's gonna accept. And some of those people that don't want to hear about God are gonna be the closest of family members. And you have to be sure enough in your faith. You have to know, understand that like you can pray for them and do everything, like wish the best for them, but for your own salvation, you have to be willing to give up the world and everything in it for God, which is the greater good. And it's not easy. Everybody has something. Like for some people it is family, and that's tough, and I really feel for them because I come from a Christian family, so it's very easy for me. But there are lots of other things that are tough on this Christian walk, and everyone has those battles, but like your family struggle, that's definitely one of the hardest ones. But you got to be able to pick, I want God more than anything else. I want peace and salvation, because another verse, like, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So that was one thing that really stuck out to me in that conversation. Even though it wasn't directly applicable to me, I'm going through something like that myself. And I've been really praying for something for a long time, probably the hardest I've ever prayed for anything that I can recall. And even though that's not necessarily how the verse is supposed to be directed, it hit me that, you know, I've been praying this for a while, and maybe the answer is no, maybe it's not gonna happen. But if God doesn't answer my prayer, what am I gonna do? And as I was on the treadmill, or not answer my prayer, but if he doesn't answer the way I want, and I was on the treadmill, and I, you know, paused the video once the conversation was done. First I said a prayer for Salim, the brother, and then I just had a conversation with God, and I was like, God, even if you don't give me what I want, I have to deny myself, and I choose you, and you are more worth it than anything. And it's gonna hurt. Like there's heartbreak, but also God promised to mend every broken heart eventually. And so I know that staying with God is the right choice. And even if I don't get what I want, I still choose God. And so that really, really stuck out to me today. So much so I'm like, okay, today's gotta be the day I make this video. And I just wanna encourage, you know, anyone else on their journey of, you know, self-improvement or just getting closer to God, that these are some things that I've learned from bodybuilding that I hope help you and you can apply to your walk. But also I encourage everyone, especially Christians, give bodybuilding a shot. One, you're gonna get in the best shape of your life. Generally, you will be healthier, even though bodybuilding itself isn't necessarily healthy, the process of getting there to a point, it is extremely healthy. And then there becomes a point after where you're going a bit into obsession. But for all intents and purposes, just getting in shape is definitely worth it. So yeah, I encourage everyone to give bodybuilding a shot. Especially Christians, it will help you on your Christian walk. One, you're going to be fasting regularly, and if you haven't, check out my video on fasting, because I feel it really ties into this, and it's a Christian practice that you shouldn't just consider that all Christians need to do. You are expected to do it, and not just like a social media fast or like a fast from like video games. Like literally stop eating food. Like, because when you are not eating food, and on days where you're fasting, on days where you have low energy, when you're cutting for a contest, you literally are living off of God's grace and the energy he's provided your body without food, and you're literally living off God. At least that's how I look at it, and that really helps me get through the days. And I find when I'm contest ready, because I've been fasting for so long, I'm the closest I am ever with God. I'm looking at my best. I'm a presentable temple to the world. Like my goal, like I want Christians, like we should as Christians, people look at us and be like, yeah, that's a Christian. That person, they take care of themselves, they act right. Like Christians, we should not be fat and sloppy and out of shape. Like we should get to work, and we should be presentable, be a inspiration to the world. And so that's my goal. I want to get Christians in shape. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. I feel like I'm rambling now. But yeah, Christians, definitely try bodybuilding. Regular bodybuilders, get into your faith and get reading your Bible. And anyone else just watching this looking for a little inspiration or just curious, give both a try. Give Jesus a try for sure, because he'll change your life. So yeah, that is it for today. I think I said everything I wanted to say. I usually think of stuff after a video and I'm like, I should have said that, but I feel pretty happy with the message I put out today. So let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments. Let me know how your fasting goes. Let me know bodybuilding, what that does for you, what that means for you. And then yeah, I will see you guys in another video. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. Peace out.